Hi, I'm Kacey.
And I'm Gianni.
I never finished reading the Animorphs books as a kid, and I still haven't as an adult.
And I've never read them.
We can't tell you where we live.
But we can tell you that we want to revisit these books as adults and dive into what we would keep or change if we were to put it on TV.
Two friends, 50-something books. Welcome to morphinbuddies.
And then the music kicks in, and then people are just so ready.
Hey everyone, welcome to the next episode of morphinbuddies. With me, your host, Kacey Cisnowski, and Mr. Gianni Del Marino.
Oh my god!
Get in here.
What a show-stopping entrance.
You gotta get in here. You're on the video. Here he is. Hey folks, this is that was an imposter, my father. As I am in Kansas visiting family. And
oh my god.
That's my dad. It's Gianni. Say hi to my papa.
Hi, Casey's dad.
There he is.
Hiya.
He wanted to do a special little intro for you. It's a surprise.
All the way from Kansas.
I thought it was brilliant. Oh, beautiful.
Good job.
Wow. I talk about cameo of the century. That is truly amazing. What a way to meet you. Thank you so much for
you too.
popping
Will you
in.
and Kacey carry on? Carry on. Have a great one.
You too.
All right, give me your earbud.
I love him.
All right, get out of here.
Adios.
Oh my god.
Leave the door wide open.
The sweetest man.
Let me close the door and the window. Here we go.
I truly did not see him there as well.
Oh,
either.
I'm so glad.
It was
glad.
a surprise. I didn't see
Surprise.
it. I didn't see him tucked away until the actual reveal itself. It was wonderful. Wow.
Yeah,
really,
folks.
Really...
I'm in Kansas visiting my family, and I had my video turned off, and my dad was so excited he wanted to be a part of it, and so I said, "Here, Papa." I wrote him my intro lines in a Google document because he doesn't have the Notes app on his phone, so which is like the most boomer nonsense. And he did a very nice intro. He did a very good job.
Doesn't the Notes app come pre-programmed on the phone, though?
Not his. He said he bought his phone for $25. I don't know what it is. It is so slow. It is such a slow... Like, I was trying to type out. It took, like, 20 seconds for the phone to make a space mark. I was like, your phone is driving me up the wall. I was like, how does it take 25 seconds to make a space?
But he handled it like a pro, though. You know, he
did.
You would have thought he'd been. He sounded just like you too. You would have thought,
yes,
oh my god, that is Kacey. And then it wasn't until you said it on the podcast that I think the audience really recognized that it wasn't.
Yeah. I wanted the element of surprise to be like, gotcha. So congratulations, you've been had. So, you know, there you go.
That's what we do here on the podcast. We bamboozle, and we have a lot of chicanery over here, as the folks know.
Yes.
If you've been listening to us for this many
episodes,
then that's just what you've come to expect.
Yep, absolutely. So we may have some Wi-Fi issues, as I am in Kansas, where the city population is about 1,000 people. So it's not many people here. So if there are some connection issues this episode, sorry folks, that's what we got today.
We'll fix it in post. You know, if there's
I'll definitely try to fix the lags,
as I'm sure there will be.
Yeah.
That's Kacey's department, because
my
editing days are behind me. And by behind me, I mean in a past life. Because I never started.
I actually just finished this book this morning.
Me too.
And then right after that, Yeah, and then right after that, I finished the second season of White Lotus, which oh my God, what a fantastic show! What an amazing show!
That's
So well done.
That's a pretty drastic shift, I think, tonally, to go from this book to
It is.
White Lotus season 2, the season that's famously about sex and healthy sex
and power dynamics and all that good stuff, you know? Just like any good TV show. But if anyone hasn't seen it, it's very well written. Probably one of the best written TV shows I've seen in a very long time. I absolutely loved it. And I was just sitting at my laptop, and the gasp that I gusped, Gianni, I was
the
gusping.
gasp that you gasped.
I was just like...
Oh, you were gusping.
I was gusping all over the place. I couldn't take my eyes off the screen, and I was like, wow, it's been a while since I felt like this watching a TV show. It was fun. It was fantastic.
It is a crazy
and I love
show. It ratchets my anxiety up.
Oh, yeah.
It's also a show. A good friend of mine is one of the casting heads
Oh,
of
no
that
way.
show. So it's very, very fun to hear after each season comes out, picking his brain about all the little nuances and secrets and whatnot that I likely would get in a lot of trouble for saying on this show. But
Gianni,
but it's very cool.
We got to get ourselves in the background of one of the episodes. You know what I mean? You know what I'm talking about? We got to get...
See, but like...
Take me to Spain.
No,
take me to Italy. Take me to Hawaii. What do you mean no?
Listen,
I'll be a dead body.
It's wonderful. I think it's wonderful that like Mike White literally just concocted excuses to go to places that he wanted to visit, and I think that that's awesome.
I do too.
But not for me. You know, I'm a homebody. I don't want to go anywhere. And I got so many weddings coming up this year. They already got me coming out of the house so many times.
Gianni.
It's just too much. I just want to be alone with my Snapple and play my Japanese role playing games.
Oh my God.
Wait,
what kind?
Hang on a second. Over my life lately.
Hang on a second. What are we talking about here at Japanese role playing games? What is this about? What is this business?
So I've been like very casually sort of obsessed with the Persona series for a time.
Okay, I don't know what that is. What is that?
I don't know if you're... basically the way I can describe it is it's like half of the game is like a high school simulator, and then half of the game is like kind of like Pokemon meets Power Rangers.
Okay.
And then at the end, they all fight God. And, like, that's every Persona game.
Okay.
But
that's actually kind of fun.
They're, like, 100 hours long.
Oh.
They're, like, really, really dense experiences because, you know, you basically go through, like, a whole year in the life of whatever.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of time management and whatnot. And then, so then once I opened the door and I realized, like, I really like this, then I was like, all right, well, now I have to, like, play... like all classic like tabletop or not tabletop but turn-based RPGs, and so then I go back and like do like Chrono Trigger and the Final Fantasy games, and then they just put out this new game which is not a JRPG but it is inspired by JRPGs. There was this game that just got released that was made by these French developers who were inspired by JRPGs like Final Fantasy X. That was called Expedition 33. And this game fucking rocks. It's absolute heat. And I've been playing the shit out of it, and I can't stop playing it. And then they put Metaphor ReFantazio on Game Pass, and that's a JRPG that's made by the same guys who make the Persona games. Well, so I just finished Expedition 33. Now I gotta go play Metaphor ReFantazio. So my life is just... My life can be summed up as has a sinus infection, I think, plays too many JRPGs, is addicted to Snapple, and just finished reading this book for morphinbuddies.
There we go. Bring it all around, full circle. That sounds pretty fun. I'm going to be honest.
Yeah.
How did you feel about the experiment? Did you think it was ghost written?
Oh, for sure. There's literally never been a more ghost-written book in the history of ghost-written books.
What could have made you guess that, Gianni?
This was like the most... You know how you know this book is a and I hate to use this word, but it is just so appropriate for this book.
Mm-hmm.
But this book is the most filler book of any filler that could have possibly filled anything. And you know it's filler when the characters even acknowledge that it's filler in the context. The last chapter literally opens with, I think it's Marco, going, "This was a complete waste of time." And you're like,
they're self-aware.
That's pretty much exactly what... It was not bad by any stretch of the imagination. There was not a single moment of it where I was not, like, enjoying myself or entertained.
Sure.
But even... I finished it this morning. Even recalling the plot, I'm thinking to myself, what are we going to say? Like, what are we possibly going to talk about? Because there's nothing to talk about.
I mean, there was an experiment.
You could take all of the Animorphs out of this book entirely, and actively nothing changes.
That's true, actually.
They actually didn't do anything. All they did was discovered something that was happening that literally has no repercussions in any way whatsoever to anything. This is the quintessential filler book.
Yeah.
Loved it.
It was still fun. This is probably the funniest Axe book that I've read in a while, just because A, it's being told from the perspective of Axe, and B, the way it was ghostwritten, by the way, the way the ghostwriter wrote the comedy for Axe was so, like, well done, I thought, for the character of Axe. It made me laugh, like, a lot. There was so much that was done well.
This book does is it introduces the idea that Axe and Tobias have been dicking around watching soap operas all day.
Which I loved that so much. That was so fun.
It's the true remaining, like, I hope they keep this running bit going for forever, because it's the true North Star of this book. But yeah, I mean, I think the only thing that maybe is, like, worth reading for, like, you know, if you're trying to be an Animorph purist or whatever, or if you're trying to take advice from us about which books are essential, which books aren't essential. I don't know why you would come to us for that, but sure. But I think the only thing that I would really recommend reading it for is just the perspective of Axe is actually just very entertaining and fun. And we don't get Axe's perspective that often, which kind of sucks.
Yeah.
He's relegated mostly to, like, I think, you know, the sort of supporting role that he kind of functions in the group is just to, you know, offer some semblance of exposition. In the past, you know, like 10 or 15 books, that's kind of just what Axe has been relegated to. He does a lot of, like...
encyclopedia, pretty much.
Yeah, encyclopedia jokes, or, you know, nerdy, off-kilter things where he doesn't understand certain social cues. He is, you know, that's his role. And it's nice to actually get inside his head, because he's very entertaining when you actually get to have him as the focal point of something. But yeah, that's pretty much the only thing this book is for. That and cows and bulls, and if you're really fascinated by, I don't know, factory farms, I guess, then maybe... Yeah,
I was a little surprised that they went as far into factory farming as they did for, like, a teen book. Are you reading your Snapple fact?
I did. I just read the Snapple fact.
What's your Snapple fact? What does it say?
Well, it's funny, because it vaguely rings familiar, because I feel like we've talked about this before, but it says, a strand from the web of a golden spider is as strong as a steel wire of the same size. Didn't we talk about how strong spider's silk is on this podcast before? Or is that a conversation that I had with another Looney Tunes-esque friend in my life?
Wait, I'm a Looney Tunes-ass friend? Yeah, I am. That kind of tracks for me.
Surprise.
I don't think that's a conversation we had. We had the baboon lemon on this podcast.
Yeah, which how could we forget the baboon lemon?
You know, it'd be really funny if
baboon is lemon.
Baboon is lemon. Question mark? It would be funny if there was like, there's a type of baboon called lemon. We'd be like, wow.
Well, yeah, no,
What?
you can't say that to me. That actually would just break my brain. My brain is so fried right now.
Yeah. But yeah, I think this book was just, yeah, nothing happened, nothing really made a difference. They even acknowledge it at the end. Yeah, the only real shining good thing about this book was the stuff between Tobias and Axe and their soap opera watching and just Axe's perception of the world and how that's humorous to us.
Right. Yeah, I think that it's I liked it better than the last book solely because I think that, yeah, there's maybe more consequential, in quotes, things in the last book, but as we had talked about when we were sort of breaking down the last book, the plot of the last book went so far off the rails that it was like almost nonsense in reiterating it back to an audience and, you know, into a podcast mic. And it really
I felt like we were having a stroke.
Yeah, I was like, how many crazy things could we possibly be talking about? And then, like, to tie everything up in a bow, everyone just leaves. And we were like, what the fuck? We were like, wait,
how did they get out? Why, how?
And so, like, this book I did like better because I think that it's far less, and maybe this is too harsh a word, but far less offensive, I think, in the grander scheme of things. It is...
maybe far less fantastical.
Yeah, it's just like, it's totally... It is filler, it is unabashedly filler, and that is fine. And it is just... It is going to come
I like that they
go.
embraced it.
Yeah, they knew what they were getting into. They were like, well, let's at least have some funny bits. And I think that if you're a ghostwriter and this is the kind of thing that you're assigned, I think they kind of handled it the best way they possibly could, which is just like, yeah, okay, I don't really have a plot that I'm really working with, so I might as well just choose the most interesting character perspective I can and then just kind of make something fun out of it. And I think I think it succeeded in that mission. So
yeah, I think so too.
For whatever that's worth.
Yeah. It's worth a lot, Gianni. Give yourself credit.
Thanks. I will.
Just trying to cheer each other up here on the podcast. Before we dive into the book, we got an email.
We did.
From our buddy Ryan, Mr. Biochemist Ryan. Hello. Ryan.
Oh, well,
what's
Ryan.
up?
Ryan, I believe, is the same one who wrote in about the glupshido, but it's not glupshido. You know what I'm talking about?
The Gleet biofilter?
Yes.
Is that what you're talking about?
Exactly what I was talking about. And they mention it again in this book.
They do. But they also use the same science that he was telling us in the email, where he's like, it can't destroy stuff inside your body, but it can destroy the things outside your body.
Yeah, which is like, what? But you're a fly and you're on my nostril. Like, you're not
in the
really,
nostril, up
you're
in
barely,
there.
I mean, come on. We're splitting hairs. This glupshido, glorgern, sklubendagen.
Biofilter.
I refuse to remember the name of something that has the flimsiest world logic in all of existence. Also, wait, no, I'll save that for later.
Yeah.
But there's just something that's mentioned in this book that I need you. I need.
Are you sure? Because you're on a roll.
Okay, yeah, I might as well get it out now because I might forget later.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying.
Excuse me, you're gonna have to edit out my coughing, but okay,
I won't.
No, what I was saying was, there's a moment in this book where someone mentions that the Yeerks have, basically enough. What do they call the blasters? Now I'm blanking on the.
The Dracon beams?
Yeah, they have enough Dracon beams to just, blow up basically the whole world. They, nuke the whole world. This is, kind of casually mentioned in this book, which is crazy to me because I was like, we're not being very sneaky anymore. You know, this whole invasion of the body snatchers element.
My God, this whole book, I was like, what? How? What?
So is it not, at this point, more prudent to just either, A, hold the whole world hostage and be like, hey, we're coming in, otherwise you're going to get nuked. Or hold the Animorphs hostage and be like, we're going to start blowing up cities if you guys don't reveal yourselves or turn yourselves in. Now, I know what you're thinking. Gianni, there's so many more books left. They can't do that. But what I think
true.
is they probably should have not had that line in this book. if they didn't want my mind to go there, is all I was thinking.
But listen, Gianni, that takes intelligence and the ability to create community within your terrible group in order to take power. And the Yeerks just are out for themselves. They don't really care about their brother Yeerks all that much. They're kind of just, selfish, out for themselves. So they'll never be able to really fully group together.
When you started your defense of this plot hole, did it make sense in your head as you were saying it? You said this doesn't make sense, or did you go into something you were like, I gotta defend with something, and you had nothing, and then just kept saying words?
Listen, Gianni, I didn't plan any of this in advance. This just popped in my brain just now, and I don't have an ability to finish a thought.
I thought it was good.
Thank you so much. Good. I tried to pull it off really well. But there you go.
Anyway, the email.
That was a dead cat bounce, if you will.
Beautiful.
Ryan wants to pop in with a few thoughts on book 25. I believe that was The Extreme, the polar bear episode.
Oh, God. Oh, yeah. A million books ago. No, there was only 2 books ago.
That was only 2 books ago. Two?
Jesus Christ.
2 books.
2 or 3?
2 books,
I think. This is the 28th, right?
This is 28. Okay, 3 books ago.
Eons ago.
Eons.
Millions of years ago.
So, Mr. Ryan said, although it's not a plot-critical book, I just want to give a shout-out to the part where we get the gem where Axe says he's welcoming the Visser back aboard the Blade ship, or he may be telling him his brother is a meteor fragment. I understand Gallard, but this morph's hearing is very uncertain. He thought that was a funny little bit. And I think that's a funny little bit.
That is very funny.
That is a funny little bit.
That is very funny.
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm glad, because in you retelling that is very funny.
That is funny, right? Bit. And then he said, second, in defense of the chi and the holograms wavering, brace yourself, Gianni.
Oh. Okay, go ahead. I like Ryan, so
You'll give him a chance. You'll give him an opportunity.
We'll see.
Ryan says, I feel like getting hit by a bus is a different level than someone tapping you on the shoulder, which I did bring up that point, to be fair. I do think that is a difference. And he said, I don't think eating food is a problem. They can just incinerate it. Okay, Ryan, how? And how does that not get noticed by the people around them? I love you, Ryan.
You just watch this guy. You watch this guy just all of a sudden start steaming.
Yeah, he's just steaming.
It's like a little chimney coming out.
He's got hot flashes, And then Ryan says, what I don't get is why the Animorphs don't use the chi to their advantage more. Have a chi play the part of Thom. And he did spell it Thom. To take the real Thom to Nebraska for 3 days until his Yeerk dies, and then send him into hiding while the chi continue to play the part. They can even continue.
This is what I'm talking about.
They can even continue to pretend to have his Yeerk. Eric pretends to have a Yeerk after all. Great point, Ryan. And my mind got a little bit blown when you said that, and I was like, yeah, why don't they just do that for every person they know has a Yeerk?
This is what I'm saying, is that if it was you, me, Ryan, and we'll say just a bird, Jimmy, and Rachel as the Animorphs, we would be so much more effective.
We would be effective.
We would have wrapped this book series up in like 2-3 books.
I think we could, Gianni. I think we could do it. That's our dream team.
We got so goddamn thick in the weeds here. We're forgetting all of the great ideas that we could do.
That's true.
Yeah. Eric has unlimited capabilities with this stuff.
And then
he becomes a FedEx truck in this book.
He does. I forgot. He's a FedEx truck and driver.
He's a FedEx truck.
That's really funny. And then Ryan says, third, apparently we now know that a bug is a shrimp and a bird is a dinosaur. Now we just have to learn what a fish really is. Did you know there's an argument to be made that humans are fish? It's a dumb argument, but it's out there in academic circles. Now listen, Ryan, I kind of agree with you on this because you know what? I played Red Dead Redemption 2. And there is a point where Arthur Morgan says, "You, sir, are a fish." And I can't really argue with Arthur Morgan. He's the best.
True. That's
I love
true.
him.
You, sir, are a fish.
Exactly.
That's
And
my
I think
Arthur
that
impression.
you can tell your academic circles, you can point to that as reference, and they have to accept it. It's the law.
Well,
And-
Dutch.
You know, Dutch is
We
kind
all
of like,
came from fish at one point or another.
all right, boy.
All right.
And last little bit, Ryan says, finally you mention a giant centipede, so I have to tell you about the Arthropelura, a 6-foot-long millipede that lives millions of years before the first dinosaurs. Look it up. You're welcome. And I said, I will not look it up. Gianni can look it up if he wants to.
Unfortunately, I'm way too curious. What's it called? How do I say it?
It's Arthroplura. Arthropleura, I believe. This is why I didn't look it up. This is why I didn't look it up.
Oh,
No way.
Oh.
Gianni, that thing, it's
Every
6 feet
picture
long,
looks
he
worse
tells
than
me.
the last
So,
one.
nah.
Oh my god. Oh
It's
my
bad.
God.
It's
oh
bad.
My god.
It's,
Oh my god.
yeah.
Oh.
No.
They got images of it like standing up, kind of.
No, listen. I got a thing against centipedes and millipedes. All right. First off, nobody needs that many legs. There's no reason for anybody to have that many legs. There's just no. You don't need that many legs.
No.
And they just shouldn't exist. They're gross. You don't get out of here. Get out of my life. Go underground. I don't want to see it. It's gross.
Oh my god! Someone did a 3D print of it.
Gross. Is it 6 feet tall? I hope not.
Well, this one was scaled down. It looks like for some sort of Dungeons and Dragons game. Oh god.
Gross. Yeah. Well, there's
No,
a sleep paralysis demon for you. So.
This whole week has just been me discovering
Animals.
like my deep rooted fears. I was talking to my brother about this. My brother and I were laughing about this yesterday, where I don't know how we got on the topic, but I realized one of my like biggest fears, I think, is like people with like abnormally long limbs.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
If anyone
Yeah.
listening to this has abnormally long limbs.
It's fine. I'm part of the club. I got long limbs. What am I gonna do?
But like, did you see Alien Romulus by any
No,
chance?
I did not. We've talked about it before, but I have
Dude,
not.
There's this guy who plays one of the things, and all respect to this man. All respect to this man. This man is like 7'7" tall.
Nice.
All respect to this man. He is my worst fear. If I saw him coming at me on the street, I would run. My fight or flight response is just like, I just freeze. There's just something about, or like a Slender Man or something.
Or like Doug Jones. Doug Jones.
Oh, and I love Doug Jones, but yes.
I do too.
Anytime Doug Jones, like if I came across Doug Jones, I would be like, ah.
I would love to do what he does. I think that kind of stuff is amazing. It's so much fun. I would love to do the stuff Doug Jones does.
Oh, God, no, I wouldn't. I wouldn't. I like my limbs short and compact and tight to my body.
I went to a thrift shop yesterday in Kansas, and they had. I always look at the DVDs because I like having hardcover physical DVDs, and I saw Pan's Labyrinth, and it was $2, and I was like, yes, absolutely, I love this movie, and I bought it, and I showed it to my dad, and he's like, I don't know what this is, and I was like, oh, it's so good, you gotta watch it. So we just started watching it this morning. And I told my dad, I was like, now it is in subtitles. They speak of Spanish in it. And both my dad and my son were like, oh, we have to work to watch a movie? And I was like, oh, I'm so sorry you have to read. I was like, get some culture. I'm so sorry you have to read, but it's a great movie. You got to watch it. So we started watching it. They seem to be really enjoying it. We're just in the first hour, so they haven't gotten to the Pale Man
it's
yet.
So phenomenal. Yeah, the Pale Man sequence, obviously one of the most iconic things of all time.
Love this movie. But they're enjoying it.
Has one of the most chilling villains.
Yes.
Yes. Oh man, there's so many great, rich, amazing characters in Pan's Labyrinth. Also,
Love it.
The ending makes me cry. Such
so
a good
sad.
movie.
So sad. I laugh at the end. No, I don't.
I like to imagine like the couple of people listening to the podcast who have like not seen Pan's Labyrinth and they're like, one of them's laughing and one of them's crying. Let me check this out and then see.
What the fuck?
And then see, so they're like, what the fuck is wrong with Kacey? That's crazy.
So much. Where do I start? No, I love the whole movie. I think we need more people watching subtitled movies, and don't do dubs.
Oh, absolutely.
Do subs. You got to do subs. Because it's the culture, it's the beauty of the language, it's the way it sounds lends itself to the rest of the film. You can't just put dubs on because the dubs aren't always good either. It's the language.
The exceptions to the rules would be Miyazaki films. You are allowed to do either one.
Yeah, sure.
And and there are a few animes like Cowboy Bebop or something to that effect. But yeah, for the most part, don't do dub. Don't do dub.
Yeah, do sub. And if you don't like subs, maybe there's an ability that you can do where you can train yourself to read and work on it. Because there's so many movies out there that are in different languages that are so wonderfully good. Like Train to Busan is a fantastic movie. Oh my God, make me cry. Yeah. Make me cry, puppy. Parasite, fantastic. I just watched that again recently. Love that movie. Anything Bong Joon-ho does really is his movie Mother. Did you see Mother? Not the one with the exclamation point, but like it's just titled Mother.
I don't think
and it's
I
a
did.
Korean. So it's fantastic. The first quick tangent before we get into the book. It's a movie about a Korean mother. Her son is kind of like there's something kind of mentally not quite right with him, and he is being accused for a murder, and his mother's like, well, he didn't do it. Like there's something, I don't know exactly what it is he has, but there's no way he could have done it. So then she has to prove in court that he didn't do it. But so the first half hour, it's really, really slow, and I almost like turned it off. And there's a point where she's at a theme park, and I'm like, all right, am I going to stick with this? I'm a little bit bored. What's going to happen? And then it does a complete 180, and you're sucked into the story. Like the rest of the time, you're just sitting there in shock. And it gets so good. So highly recommend that if you want to watch a really good Korean film by Bong Joon-ho. Love it.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I mean, I watch everything with subtitles, so
same.
It just trains my brain where I can do it all. But yeah, I'm a big subtitle fan. So you can also see
Reading
Seven
shouldn't be
Samurai,
a
which is the
chore.
best movie of all time. So there you go.
What movie? Seven Samurai, you said?
Yeah.
Oh, I have not seen it.
It's the best movie ever made.
Oh, fantastic.
It just
That's
is.
good to know.
It just is.
I'll have to put it
just
on
gets
my
better
list.
and better. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, set
Love
aside
that.
like 3 hours for yourself. There's an intermission spliced into it, so you're fine. But
Love that.
Best movie ever.
I'm down for it. All right. So I guess should we get into the experiment then?
Oh yeah, that's
Mr.
right. There's
Gianni?
a plot to this.
There's a plot.
So the
However
experiment.
irrelevant.
The experiment begins with an experiment of our own, and the experiment is: can this ghostwriter write the perspective of acts in a way that makes this book seem like it has a plot? I will leave you to the viewer to decide if they were successful or not. What happens though begins with Axe and his, as he puts it, bestest friend in the whole wide world,
Best
aka
buddy.
Tobias. But so they're hanging out, they're watching a soap opera together. Oh god, now I'm blanking on the name of what soap opera they were watching. It's
Young and the Restless.
Yes.
They're always restless. They're
Yep.
so restless and young.
They're so young. Yeah. I grew up always catching snippets of General Hospital, so that's my only like reference. of soap operas. And then one of my very best friends, her dad is the set designer for The Bold and the Beautiful. So apart from those two...
Oh, no way.
I don't know anything about any soap opera apart from those two. But I can tell you a lot about James Franco's debut acting experience on General Hospital. But moving on, they are pretty quickly sidebarred into a FedEx truck, which turns out to be a hologram projection of Eric the Chi, who at this point is now officially just guy who gives quests.
He's the quest giver.
He's the video game character who is just gonna tell your mission if you choose to accept it. And basically what he's saying is that the Yeerks have taken control of some sort of meatpacking factory, meatpacking plant,
and an animal testing facility.
Right.
So
and that's,
he's like
they need to investigate what's going on with it. There's some sort of truck that they see that's going into this testing facility, and they're able to get close enough to it to hear what's inside, but they can't actually identify or see what's inside. But they believe that it's chimpanzees. They hear chimps. So
they hear these noises. Yeah.
They concoct a plan. Their master plan is that they're going to sneak into this truck. They're going to morph into the chimpanzees within the truck, and then release the chimpanzees out into the wild.
They're gonna try to release them in the wild, but they're also gonna take their place in order to figure out what the heck is going on. Now, here you would think throughout the book, Tobias would be like, "Thanks, Uncle Axe." I mean, Axe, but he doesn't.
No.
Not once. Not ever.
He's keeping that one close to the chest for some
keeping
reason.
it close to his chest.
I am but a mere ghostwriter, and K.A. Applegate wants to address this herself.
Exactly. The rest of the gang don't know that his dad's Elfangor, right?
I don't think anyone listened in on that. Yeah.
Our sad secret boy, Tobias.
Not even his girlfriend? Question mark?
Oh, their girlfriend, boyfriend. He hasn't told Rachel either.
Yeah, every time they describe Rachel, by the way, everybody's just like, "Oh yeah," and smoking hot Rachel.
Smoking hot,
She's so
smoke show
smoking
Rachel.
Hot. I'm like, dude, you got this absolute baddie. You're a bird. Just tell her what's going on. You know what I mean?
Yeah, just give her a little bird kiss. So they see. Anyway, Jake thinks of a plan. They're like, let's all morph seagulls. Let's land on the back of the truck. And we're going to demorph while we're on top of the truck as it's driving. And they get into a tunnel. Axe gets a little bit claustrophobic. They're all like sliding, trying to hang on. They decide to make a human chain where they're going to dangle Kacey over the back of the moving truck in the dark tunnel where she can't see anything. Right. For her to lift and unlock the back door of the truck. Now, are their bodies long enough to be the length of both the top and the back of the truck? I suppose so. How are they hanging on?
My worst nightmare is what they are, because that would mean you have freakishly long limbs and you hunted me in an ancestral existence.
See, this is where being a squid would have helped them.
Imagine
morph a squid.
I would fuck with this book 10 times more if they just started morphing squids at inappropriate times.
If one of them morphed squid, one person's hanging on to the top of the truck, other hand, squid tentacle. Then we got squid, then we got other squid tentacle being hung on by another kid. And I think that would be enough to get you down to the back of the truck, probably, for the rest of them.
If that's what it was. That would be sick as hell.
Listen, if one of my tentacles rip, guess what? It's fine, because I can just morph back into human and I'm fine. I'm not injured.
Yeah.
Great idea. Anyway, so they're all slipping and sliding, and apparently there's a car behind them that supposedly can see everything. Okay.
Yeah, kind of casually mentioned. Also, how dark is this tunnel?
Yeah, because I
kind
thought
of a liability if it's like complete pitch black. Like, I don't know. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah. So they all get in. They acquire the chimps. They let loose 6 of them because that's how many. And the chimps are like, we don't want to go. And they're like, get out of here, chimp. Just go. Get out of here. You know, like in every sad movie where the kid has to get rid of the dog and by putting him in the woods and driving away.
They finally have really started roasting Kacey about her
a little bit, yeah.
Bullshit.
Yeah.
Because she frees these chimps and everyone's like, she's really hesitant or whatever, and then she's like, I don't know if we should let them go. They were raised in captivity. They might not know how to survive on their own. And they're like, well, it's better than whatever the Yeerks do.
That's true.
And then Marco's
kind of mean.
Being a tree hugger.
Marco's kind of mean to her in this a little bit. Like, I understand.
Man, she deserves it.
No, I understand the criticism, but like, you didn't have to go that far, Marco. And
no, you did.
No,
you don't
no.
remember when she quit?
Yeah.
Remember when she quit? I'm old enough to remember when she quit.
Yeah, but everybody...
I'm old enough to remember that all of you liked that book, too, you fucking weirdos. That book's not good.
Well, they all also made a pact not to acquire quote-unquote sentient creatures. But, like, do we actually know what is sentient, what is not? That's something that Axe asked her. And Cassie just...
close to the line or whatever.
Cassie won't answer.
Do you want to be a Power Ranger or not? All right? That's what it comes down to. Are you a Power Ranger or are you not a Power Ranger? If you want to quit, go quit.
You know what?
You quitter.
Gianni, I think Cassie's being a bit of a silly goose. And you know what? We can't have that in this economy. We just can't have that right now. And so Cassie won't answer if they're sentient or not. Marco's kind of a jerk. And at least Jake stands up for her a little bit. He's like, all right, Marco, lay off. And I'm like, thank you, Jake, for standing up for Cassie. That was a decent thing that I remembered that Jake did.
I just remember Jake just kind of being like, oh, we should do this. Oh, cool, man. Yeah,
cool, man.
You did it.
You got it. So then
way to go.
They all lock themselves in the cages, and they get taken into the building. And Axe is offered a cookie. We find out that the chimp that he acquired, her name's Pumpkin. So Axe is Pumpkin.
Fuck yeah.
Love that for Axe. And so he eats the cookie, and then he wonders if the cookie is low-fat and heart-healthy because of these messages keeps telling him that everything should be low-fat and heart-healthy.
Yeah, he's like obsessed with commercials, which is another part of the soap opera thing.
He's like, that's
really
his favorite thing instead of the story of the soap opera. He's like, oh, I love these messages. This is my favorite thing.
Yeah.
For those too young to know what that is, which is wild to me, these messages is something that would come up right before a commercial started. We'd be like, we'll get you back to the show after these messages. And that's Axe's favorite thing. So... They all, Axe gets a collar put on him, clearly ready for BDSM activity, and as a chimp. And
what if I didn't laugh, and then we just let that...
I would have kept going. I would have kept going.
Because I know for a fact people listen to this podcast and have never read any of these books, and so they truly think... We could steer people so off cliff.
I love that, honestly.
Think something.
What's real? What's
not real?
We
might
have
already done it at some point.
We could have.
We might have already done it. Remember how many times we would talk about it when people made out? There's people listening to this podcast who think that these books are smut.
Vistor 3 and Krayak and Jake all kiss together at the same time.
And they all kiss.
So you know,
Krayak, the benevolent overlord.
So, well, I guess to make the distinction. No, it's not for BDSM. It's for scientific testing. But it's more fun to say it's for BDSM.
Yeah.
So, especially as a chimp. So they all get transferred into different cages, and then the handlers leave the room. And Cassie,
as they do,
and Cassie demorphs, and she's gonna let them all out. But oh no. Who comes in? Who comes into the room?
Visser 3!
Oh my God!
And he's striding in. They're trying to get his attention. They're trying to distract him. And they decide the only way to distract him is by throwing poop at him. And they throw poop at him.
They hit
him with poop.
They get him all pooped up.
And he immediately turns to one of the scientists and is like, we're actually done with these chimps. You should kill them all.
Every single one of them. Murder. Every single one of them.
And they're like, okay, we gotta get out of here.
And so They all demorph and remorph. Cassie unlocks all the cages, and then Taxons are coming in. They're like yummy, yummy chimps, delicious. And Cassie stabs one in the belly, and he's crawling away with his entrails behind him, being eaten by the other Taxons. The gang let out all the rest of the chimps, and they all escape with the chimpanzees. And then they get out, and then Axe has a moment to himself where he has a big think about the way that animals are treated in society, which I was like, that's nice to like at least consider that, or have a moment of like,
reflect,
yeah,
reflect on something.
He's like, maybe perhaps these animals are more intelligent than we believed, and maybe we shouldn't be treating them the way that humans treat them. And I'm like, that's what I've been saying since 2015.
Yeah. Remember when the last chapter of this book, though, completely
negates that?
Fuck this idea. Actually, fuck this idea.
completely. So then Tobias goes to visit Axe, and like he's like, here's a universal remote, you can have that. And Axe is like, I don't have to get up to turn the TV to The Young and the Restless. And so he's flipping through channels, sees the news that all these chimps have been rescued. Great. And then the gang meets the next day, and they're like, all right, now we got to go to the meat packing plant. Which I was like, are they actually, like, how far into this meat packing plant, like, how deep are they actually going to get into it, or are they just going to kind of graze over it because it's kind of a kid's book? They kind of go deeper than I thought they would.
I've seen Okja.
I love that movie.
Yeah, no fun.
Another Bong Joon-ho. Yeah, very sad.
Yeah,
very sad.
No fun, you know? So I would say, let's not go into the meat packing plant. But that would be my vote.
Yeah, But I would say no. As someone who has been a vegetarian for 10 years, and will continue to be so, I'd say no. Yeah. I don't want to venture in there.
That's just me. But they decide, okay, there's these two steers. They determine that the male bull, once it's been properly neutered, is now called
a steer.
And the steers, they just have to identify the steers in the field and then morph into those steers, and then they'll be taken to the meatpacking plant or whatever. So they identify the steers. Takes them a little while, but they identify the steers. They Axe and Tobias both morph into the steers, and very quickly realize that the DNA that they got does not include the neutered part. So they are bulls, and they are not steers, and they are immediately very territorial with each other and almost get into a fight. Cassie talks them down. Yeah. And then they are shepherded into the meatpacking plant. Almost immediately, the two drivers, who are going to take them there, are like, wait a second, them's ain't steers, them's bulls. And then Marco morphs into a gorilla and knocks them both unconscious. And then they're like, how do we prevent them from going after us when they wake up? And Marco suggests that they take all of their clothes so that they
keep them naked.
Delayed.
Yeah,
great idea. So sorry, I just hit my mic, but yes. So they have stripped these men naked, and they now, with a gorilla in kind of a Canadian tuxedo, are driving.
I imagine overalls.
Whatever can fit on him, you know. He's just kind of Curious George in it, and so they go to the meatpacking plant with these two Tobias and Axe bulls, I suppose,
and the rest of the steer.
See some pretty gnarly shit, as one would expect in a meatpacking plant, you know.
Pretty bad.
Yeah, it's not anything that anyone really wants to see. And eventually they then kind of see what everybody's getting up to in there. They're doing some sort of DNA testing, I guess.
Oh, also, they're like, cows are dumb as fuck. And I'm like, no, they're not, actually. Cows are actually pretty intelligent creatures. They're kind of like big dogs.
I just remembered I forgot about the part where someone like came out into the field and almost caught them, and they were cow tipping, which was just...
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
That's something like, unless you grew up in the Midwest, or like have seen Cars, you really have no concept of this, but cow tipping is the thing.
Yeah.
I didn't grow up in the Midwest, so I've never cow tipped, nor have I had any desire to cow tip. But apparently, it's the concept where you can go out to the field with just push a cow over, and it won't be able to get up. It's
Yeah,
basically-
so
sounds pretty cruel.
So I grew up in Indiana. Love that for me. Let's go. But so I never knew. I didn't grow up in like farmland. I grew up in kind of like a neighborhood. I grew up where Notre Dame College is. So it's a small town of about 150,000 people. We didn't really have. I didn't know anybody that went cow tipping or knew of anybody that went and did that. I think it was more a thing that people talked about doing, but nobody ever actually really did it. And the point of doing it is like you have to do it at night because the cows are sleeping, and you want to tip it over while it's sleeping, and then scare it awake, and then laugh about it, which I always felt like it's kind of cruel to do to an animal.
Just mean.
Yeah, it's just mean. There's nothing really funny about it. It's just mean. So don't do that. Don't encourage anybody to do that. It's mean. And the cow can actually like damage internal organs if you tip them over and they fall on their side. So please don't do that.
Yeah, which is the same as me, by the way. I'm very, very delicate.
You're very
fragile,
delicate. You are a
so
delicate boy.
Don't tip Gianni over either when he's sleeping.
No.
No
tipping
I
Gianni.
always sleep standing straight up. Arms folded across chest.
That's the X that says no, don't come near me.
Yes, no, do not push me over. Yes.
I will fall and perhaps cry.
Yeah. No, I will cry.
Yeah, absolutely.
I might fall. I will cry.
Yeah, 100%. So anyway, Axe is in the line of steer, and he sees them getting murdered. And that's the cops going after the people murdering the cows, by the way. Just FYI, that siren. Anyway.
Oh, yeah. They're pulling me over.
No, 100%.
For my cow tipping.
How dare you?
My cow tipping.
How dare you?
Caught up to me.
So, Axe is realizing, like, the cows ahead of him are being murdered. They're putting the steel thing to the head and shooting them in the head, and they fall over, and then they get drug up by their ankles and hung from the ceiling. Axe is like, I don't want that to happen to me. And he tries to, like, not move forward. Then, because he's not moving forward, one of the workers decides to put something in his butt to make him jolt forward, which is also not good.
They like electrocute him with something, right?
Yeah, they electrocute him, they put things in his butt, and it forces him to move forward because he's like, and they're poking his belly, and I'm like, wow, this is awful.
Which sounds terrible to get an electrocution in the butt. What was that, by the way, that they used?
I think a cow prod. If you write down,
and I can get one on Amazon.
I'm sure there are different lengths. I'm sure there's different lengths for your comfort. So, very sad the way that they are treating these. It's tried to be played for humor. I don't think it's very funny, but that's just me. Yeah, and then
we had different sensibilities in the early 2000s too.
Exactly. So Axe decides he's going to start demorphing because that's the only way he can get out of this. And he's about to be killed. It's the 11th hour. And then Rachel pops in grizzly mode, knocks the farmer out. And she's like, sorry, I was so late. I got caught up being a fly. And he's like...
As one does.
That is his exact words in his response. So he demorphs fully. Everybody else gets into battle morphs. All the other controllers come after them with chainsaws, knives, buzzsaws, any kind of saw. And
it becomes a real house of horrors here for a minute.
I was like, holy fuck, dude.
All kinds of blood and entrail descriptions. And there's a lot of just limbs flying and whatnot.
Yeah. Bacteria.
But ultimately, they come to like the human cage room. I don't know any other way to describe it. There's
They get through a door and they're in a room.
Yeah.
like a lab.
There's a room that has like some sort of like computer system set up to it, and a bunch of humans in cages. and they go up to the computer. They basically plug in they're like, "What is going on, Google?" And the computer reports back that basically the wonderful, and they give him a whole bunch of accolades. Visser 3 has created a 100% foolproof machine that, if inserted into the meat food supply, can make free will completely disappear from all human beings.
Yeah,
making
Project
them perfect,
Obedience.
Yeah, perfect products then to infest with yerks. So all it takes is just infesting all of the different meat. It was at this point where I said to myself that RFK Jr. must have written this book.
Or his brainworm.
Yeah, his brainworm wrote this book. And the yerks will make him 100% obedient.
Gianni, you can't make fun of his voice. He can't help that. That's a biological thing.
And the yerks.
No.
They're putting the pesticides in the meats.
Look,
your Snapple is filled with obedient fuel.
Listen, we can make fun of him because he doesn't believe vaccines work, and he is dumb as hell. Sorry, he just
you're
is.
Part of the Trump administration.
Nope.
Unfortunately,
Thumbs
I'm allowed
down.
to make fun of you.
Yeah, you're. I'm not gonna bend to that will. So
Yeah, sorry.
anyway, so I was like, oh, they're putting it in the meat. Then I'll be fine. I'll still have my free will. They didn't consider vegetarians in this.
Oh, hooray for
this.
you! Bully for you, Kacey. Congratulations. Do you want your medal?
Yeah, give me a medal. Let me be.
You want your...
Let me. Ow! I just hit my. I just hit the blinds on the wall next to me. Ow!
Instant karma. Instant karmic justice.
No. Anyway, so they're gonna be like, not in our food, not in our meat.
But then they're like sitting there. They're like, this doesn't make any sense. Like,
Well,
how could it be 100%
Cassie
foolproof?
is the only one
Yeah.
that believes that this is not real. She's like, yeah, right. And they're like, but Cassie, they said the computer just said. She's like,
Jake, I think says like 3 times. He's like, but it's 100%.
and Cassie's like, no, it's not. You're an idiot. She's like, nothing is ever 100%, and nobody's ever gonna take away our free will as humans. Like, no.
And then she points out, she's like, why are they in cages if they don't have free will?
Yeah, and they're in biostasis.
And everyone's like, that is weird. Then immediately their questions are answered by some scientist guy holding a gun to them, trembling hands,
He's like,
being like, you guys gotta get out of here. And then Jake like knocks his gun away, and the guy starts to cry. And then he's like,
wait, Gianni, is this you?
Yeah, it might be me. Because then he's like, I'm sorry, like, basically, Mr. 3 is like enslaving these people. And he kept wanting results. And so then we just made up the results. And so they were like,
we just said 100%.
And so they were like, so it's not 100% like foolproof, like this Project Obedience? He's like, no, it doesn't work at all. We just say that it works, so then he leaves us alone. So they were like, oh, okay. So then this doesn't really matter. And then they leave.
Yeah, they release all the humans, and they're like, oh, and they're also like, oh, they targeted homeless people. And I was like, dude.
Yeah, which they just threw in there casually, which I was like, okay.
Yikes. Okay, right. This is I wasn't a fan of the Yerks before, and now I'm definitely not a fan. So the scientist is like,
when you were all, maybe the Yerks aren't all bad. With the Kacey,
I didn't say that. I didn't say that. I didn't say that. No, roll the tape back. I did not say that. And you can't roll the tape back because it doesn't exist.
Yeah,
I didn't say that. I didn't say it.
Those episodes. You'll never find them.
My Yerk propaganda. And so the scientist is like, okay, I'm really sorry. Let me help you guys out of here. And he takes all the humans that are in there. And it's funny because as soon as they bring the humans out of biostasis, they're all like, what the heck are we doing here? Like, they're just like, what? How did I get here?
Wait a second. This is not where I parked.
So then the scientist helps everybody out, and then it cuts to the last chapter the next day.
Which literally begins with Marco going, that was a fucking waste of time.
Yeah. Marco's like, what a waste of time. And
Yeah.
Axe is like, may I please have my cinnamon bun? They give him a cinnamon, which also, by the way, Axe's home has a framed picture of a cinnamon bun on the wall. I forgot to mention that.
You're
He's like,
right. That is
my
important.
favorite thing. And so Axe eats his cinnamon bun, and then Marco's like, oh, let me eat my burger. And he takes a bite, and the whole gang just kind of stares at him a second, like, maybe.
Yeah.
Are you okay? And Marco's like, it's fine, it's a burger. And they're like, all right, we'll all have burgers too.
Yeah.
And then that's the end of it.
Meat.
Bop. It's pretty neat. It's pretty neat.
Yeah, maybe we're treating these animals too poorly. Let's all eat burgers.
Let's eat them anyway. Who cares?
Yeah, whatever.
Whatever. So yeah, that was the end of the book. I mean, would we include this in a TV series? Because I feel like
No.
there's no point. Even they acknowledge it. Wow, what a waste of time. The only reason I would include this in an episode is because of the acknowledgement. Wow, what a waste of time. Because it's kind of funny, in my opinion.
No,
I think it's kind of funny.
I think it's very fun to have as like a bit, but
yeah.
No, I mean the only things I'm carrying over from this book are like I'd love to show Axe's home life.
Yeah.
More like I'd
Watching
love
The Young and
but-
Restless. Yeah.
But you can find an opportunity for that in any other of the episodes of this TV adaptation, this hypothetical TV adaptation. So, yeah, no, I don't think it's necessary. I would cut basically this entire plot. Fun time. Not upset to have read it, but yeah, no, this in terms of the adaptation, this is one of those.
There's not really anything we can do with it that I don't know how we could. If we could somehow finagle the story and like make something of it, or try to say some kind of message, or have something happen, like I don't know. This is, I think, the first book where I look at it, I'm like, I don't know what to do with this.
No, I like the concept of like the Yeerks keep trying these different elaborate schemes and plans that are getting thwarted by just basic fundamentals of human free will that they're underestimating. But that's something that they can eavesdrop and overhear about.
Yeah.
Like, as like a casual Easter egg or a reference in something in another episode. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, like if
nothing really concretely needs to carry over.
If they hear something
plot-wise.
from like a different aisle in a store while they're shopping, and they're like, oh,
Yeah.
that, you know. I also think the best part of this book, besides the Axe and Tobias stuff, was the bit at the end when they're trying to figure out whether or not the free will was taken, and being in this laboratory with humans. I was like, wow, this is interesting. And we only have 15 pages of the book left. Like, this is the part that I wanted to focus on, you know. This would be interesting.
Yeah.
You know, you could do a whole plot line of like, well, we're attacking a spot with the Yeerks, and then we accidentally got in this lab room where we see people being held in biostasis, and we're trying to figure out what's going on, you know, but then we got to get out of here.
Yeah.
You know, we could
Having
do something.
the lab testing and the meatpacking plant.
It's a little too much.
Too much. Mm-hmm. You know, if you were just adapting the story straight, you probably would just have one or the other. Mm-hmm. But that, yeah, I mean, ultimately, it's inconsequential. Mm-hmm. Nothing's going to carry over. They even acknowledge that in the book itself.
Mm. Yeah.
It just kind of is what it is.
Yeah.
It is, and I hate the word. I hate to use the word, but it is filler. This is the epitome of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Should we go to the next book and see what's next?
Yeah.
This is a book.
Are you sure we're not in the fucking
in the
like 30 ghostwriters in a row or whatever?
Let me
I just want to make
see.
sure.
Yes, I am sure.
What is this one called? The Sickness?
Yes. I remember this one though.
What is this? Oh my goodness.
What, Gianni?
Oh God. No.
What?
What even is it?
What do you mean, what is it? What does that look like? What's on the cover?
Is it like a slug?
It's not a slug, but you're close.
Is it like a fishy slug?
It's not a fishy slug.
I don't like it.
Gianni, what if What else could it be if it's not a slug or a fishy slug?
I don't know, but it needs to be killed. And I'm sorry. I
Gianni.
don't know. Who's...
I'm going to give you a clue.
Okay.
You've called them Nazis before.
Ew! She's gonna morph into a yerk? Why is it so big? It's huge.
Well, you can't make it tiny. You can't make it real size on the cover of a book. Then you won't be able to see it.
It's giant.
Well, yeah, the size proportion is not going to carry over. You got to enhance for detail. Computer enhance.
Ugh. Oh my god. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, genocide on them. I'm so sorry. You do not deserve to live looking like that.
So this
Also,
yes.
Also, Cassie, the third Cassie morph is so disturbing.
Oh, I hate it. Yeah, I really hate it. The neck is gone and she's
so,
sideways.
Like the part mouth.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh god.
It's pretty bad.
But also, she becomes like Fat Albert in the second one. Why is that?
Yeah, a little bit.
Like they rotund her face and then give her like a belly. It's so awful.
Yeah, look at the way her legs are in that second one.
Yeah,
Gross.
no, I need this gone. I need this eradicated from the earth. This is terrible.
So on the cover of the Cygnus, we got Cassie morphing into a yerk, and Gianni doesn't like it.
Good lord, no.
What's the tagline on that one?
Oh god, do I have to look at it? Cassie is about to make a change for the better.
What do you think? What do you think this one's going to be about, Gianni?
As she changes into a yerk and hopefully quits the Animorphs and
She's going to live the rest of her life as a yerk?
That she's a Nazi sympathizer? I don't know. I don't know. I have no fucking idea. Obviously, there's going to be a sickness. Mm-hmm. She's going to have to turn in... Maybe it's a yerk sickness. I hope it's a yerk sickness. They could just...
You're kind of close. All right, I'll give you...
the yerks all pesticides or something. I don't know.
I'll give you a description here.
Yeah.
Something is very wrong with Axe. He's sick.
Oh.
And the Animorphs don't know what to do about it. They can't take him to the hospital. They don't know how to contact the Andalite homeworld. And Axe is dying.
Oh my goodness.
Cassie and the other Animorphs come up with a plan, but it involves finding a new way into the Yerk pool. There's just one problem. Jake, Rachel, Tobias, and Marco come down with Axe's sickness. And now, for the first time, Cassie is on her own.
Oh, brother.
What?
Worst string of sentences you could have said. Oh, man. Cassie's on her own.
Yep.
No. My new least favorite Animorph is on her own.
No!
Oh, brother.
But aren't you scared of Axe dying? What if he dies?
Well, it sounds like everybody has it, so... I don't know.
I mean... Also, here's a question.
This sounds like a disaster.
Could they morph into an animal and then morph back and not be sick?
Yeah, why not?
Or does that sickness carry with them into the morph, and then they morph back and they're still sick?
Nothing else carries into the morph, so why would that?
Is this a cure for like Alzheimer's and like cancer? Is this what we can do?
They've cracked the code.
Wow.
A couple of 13-year-olds, they've cracked the code.
Well, hang on. I cracked the code first, and then I gave it to the 13-year-olds.
Oh, yeah. Only on book 29, we solved Alzheimer's.
We did it!
Wait, hold on, Axe. I know you're sick. But wait a second. What if we gave this to the Alzheimer's patients?
There we go. We find the cube
Easy.
and we give it to the Alzheimer's patients. Problem solved.
Easy.
Easy peasy.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's what's coming up in this next book.
I mean, wonderful. Can't wait. I hope to not be still sick when we record that one, but we'll see how that goes. I apologize to everybody if I sound awful. I'm trying.
I don't think you sound awful. Maybe
through.
a little nasally, but not much.
I in my head I sound dreadful, but
nah.
hopefully it's better in practice. But edit out all the coughing or whatever the fuck. But yeah, I'll be better. Hopefully by the next recording date, and then we'll talk about how someone else is sick.
Ooh.
Axe.
Oh no, X. So if you think X is sick as fuck, you can call a doctor. And to do that, you can email us at morphinbuddies@gmail.com.
Call a doctor by email, I guess?
Yeah, you're a therapist, Gianni. That's technically a doctor, sort of.
It's true.
Sort of.
That's
Not
true.
really.
I don't have a degree, but I can help you with anything.
If someone breaks their leg, you're like, you can do it, buddy. Just pretend that the leg's not broken. There you go. You can email us at morphinbuddies at
gmail.com.
Hate it. Love it.
Hate
Love
it. Hate
One of these
it.
days, Gianni, you're gonna appreciate it. You can appreciate it. You're gonna be like, that was. Oh wow, I learned so much.
I think you should get your dad to read it and then
The book?
see if he does. No, if he does like the GMA.
Oh, I should do that. Papa?
Papa.
That's what I call him. Because I used to call him Daddy, and then the internet ruined that for me. So now I call him Papa.
Beautiful.
And every time I write his name out, and when I text him, I always put accent marks and different capitalizations over the A in Papa.
Papa.
Papa. Let me go see if he's around. Hang on a second. Here, Papa. Do you want to say bye to the folks?
Say bye to the folks.
Yeah. Put it in there. Come here. Get in here.
Get in there, Ham
You
again.
gotta do your big sign off.
Yeah, you got to do big sign off.
Big sign off.
Yeah.
Well,
So-
what a wonderful day we all had. Enjoy the wonderful weather wherever you may be. And remember, Kansas is a wheat state. It is great. Adios.
Did you like the book? Did you like the experiment?
I love that.
I love the book. Can't wait for the sequel.
What was your favorite part of the experiment?
Where the guy got confused in a laboratory and something broke. And it was kind of a messy scene.
Oh, it was a messy scene.
He's not wrong. That's
How did you feel?
Exactly what happened.
How did you feel about the young and the restless?
Young and Restless?
Yeah,
That's what they were.
they were young and restless.
About it. I'm old and restless. That's a new book.
It's a new book.
Oh my god, I love it.
Yeah. So good job, Papa, and tell him we'll see him on the next episode of Morphin Buddies. Tell him to email us also. Do you know our email address?
We'll see you at the next episode, and whatever the email is, go ahead and use it.
It's morphinbuddies
Morphinbuddies
at gmail.com.
at gmail.com.
You want to spell it?
Can't miss it. COM.
You got Gianni. That was a good one.
I got it.
You got
Good.
it.
I like that.
All right.
Well, we
All
don't
right.
have anyone spelling out COM, so that actually makes
Good
a lot
to see
of
you.
That's true. That's true. All right. Bye, Papa. Give me the earbud back.
Bye.
Thank you.
That's good.
Okay. Bye.
That was 10 times better than I could have possibly expected for a sign
What a
off.
fantastic finish to this episode.
What a
Couldn't
guy.
have-
What
Could
a
have said
guy.
it better for myself. All right, folks. You can email us or do whatever. Say hi to my dad. Whatever. It's cool. And we'll see you in the next episode of Morphin Buddies.
Peace.
Peace.
GMAIL.